What's up YouTube? Welcome back to the card draft. In today's video, we're going to be going on r/pkmntcg on Reddit. I'm going to pull a few different deck lists that people have made looking for feedback. So we're going to go through each of them. I'm going to rate them, and I'm going to be giving my thoughts on what they should change to make the deck even better. Quick disclaimer, these are real people and real deck lists. So because of that, I'm going to be blurring out the names on Reddit. And that's just about it. Let's get into it. As you can see, we made it to our first stop. This one is titled Wake Up Babe, new budget deck just dropped. So these people aren't technically looking for feedback, but I'm going to see if I can give this deck a rating and see if I can make it any better than it really is. If not, it might get scored a perfect 10, but we'll have to wait and see for this. So I'm going to go ahead and put this into Limitless TCG. That way we can get a better view of the deck. And I'll be right back to you guys. As we can see here, I put the deck into Limitless TCG. So we're able to see all the cards, see how much it would cost. So since this is a budget deck, we are going to apply the rule that we're going to stay below a certain budget. As of right now, it is $33.84, which I would say isn't bad. But let's say the budget's only 30, right? Or maybe even lower than that, possibly 20. And so these are all some relatively cheap cards, as you can see the individuals on TCG Player or Card Market. You know, only a few cents each. Not bad at all, right? Then we get the Hero's Cape. 18 bucks on TCG Player. So obviously that might be over the budget of a few people, because you know, if your budget's only 20 bucks, that takes up majority of your budget. So we're gonna see how to get around this. My first thought was Luxurious Cape, but the problem with this is, since the point of the deck is Mega Slowbro, and him being an EX, this wouldn't work because this doesn't work on a on Pokemon with rule boxes, which EX Pokemon like Mega Slowbro himself does. So because of that, we might have to get rid of Hero's Cape completely. Yeah, none of these would work. So what I'm thinking, we get rid of Hero's Cape, right? Immediately drops it to 1561. I'm thinking either add another boss's order, right? Or another Wanderer's Patch. I would do another Wanderer's Patch. Save it like that. Boom. 1582. That's extra budget. Obviously, if you do have the budget of over 33, however much it was, I would say definitely spend it getting the Hero's Cape, because the Hero's Cape is super good. But in cases of, if it's not as much, or you know, you really just don't want to spend the money, I would say replace it with something else, either a boss's order or a Wanderer's Patch. I would personally do the Wanderer's Patch. Doesn't matter, you can do whatever. You can do another switch if you want. You can do another energy switch. You can do another Pokegear, another Mist Energy, another normal basic energy, whatever floats your boat, you know, whatever fits. For the rundown, let's start with consistency, which I would give this deck a 7 out of 10 because the trainer line is genuinely solid for a wall deck. Comes with Jumbo Ice Cream, Lily Determination, Morty's Conviction, Boss Orders, Ultra Balls, Pokegear 3.0. All super great, gives you real draw and search power, right? You're not likely to break often. The one knock with 4 Cinderace, 4 Slowpoke, and 4 Mega Slowbro EX, all needing to hit the board, there's a real getting run over before you set up risk that any stage 1 reliant wall deck has to manage. For the power ceiling, I would give it a 6 out of 10. This isn't an explosive deck, and it's not supposed to be. It's a grindy, attrition-based wall. Mega Slowbro EX, punishing attackers for going in on it is strong against aggressive decks, but weaker into anything that also plays a long game or has direct answer to walls. Solid, but not scary, right? Budget and accessibility, 9 out of 10. After cutting Hero's Cape, this is one of the cheapest decks I've seen, roughly 15, maybe even $16 most for the whole 60 cards. Generally one of the most accessible real decks out there right now. Synergy wise, I will say a 6 out of 10. The core wall pieces and the support suite clearly work together. The one thing I'd flag, honestly, on camera, I'm not 100% certain what specific role Cinderace is playing here, type-wise alongside Psychic Wall Shell. Worth asking the deck's builder directly what the intended combo is, rather than me guessing at it on here. All right. For overall rating, I would say 7 out of 10. What I'd actually change, which I did, was cut Hero's Cape. That's covered. Huge budget win, near 0 power loss, right? Beyond that, I'd want to hear from the builder what Cinderace's job is before recommending a swap there, since it might be doing something clever that I'm not seeing from the list alone, right? But yeah, overall 7 out of 10. Still super good, especially budget-wise. Amazing. Wouldn't knock it until I try it. Alright guys, back at it. We found our second person that this time actually needs help with the deck. As you can see, as the title says, needing help with my deck. Pretty please. We're here to help, right? Capiche? Says deck help here as well. The text says, basically, long story short, I went to my first local last week and got absolutely washed, but I'm heading again this week and I managed to build another deck via pilfering through my friend's book, and I was wondering if I should make any changes. So as we can see, we have all the Pokemon and trainers and whatnot energies here, 60 cards. We're gonna go ahead and bring this to Limitless TCG, and we'll be right back. Alright, so we're here on the second deck. It's already looking pretty good. I like the Pokemon. I like the items, the supporters. Energy's looking good. Price is amazing, 1681, almost as cheap as the other one, right? I also just remember that this is actually a well-known established archetype, which is a good sign already. I think this is called the hide and seek, or like a Ghost Veil deck built around Pitch Black synergy. So that's already super cool, if that is the case, which I'm pretty sure it is. And there's not much that I would take out of the deck, or anything at all, really. I would maybe add another Buddy Poffin, but I wouldn't also want to get rid of anything, really. This looks pretty good. To just jump straight into, ratings, I would say consistency is an 8 out of 10. This is the strongest part of the build. 4 Gwyn, 4 Ultra Balls, 3 Prism Towers. That's the exact community established engine for reliably filling the discard pile fast. With 4 different hide and seek Pokemon at 4 copies each, there's a lot of redundant fodder. So the deck rarely whiffs on having something to discard, right? I'd only dock a few points for running 3 instead of 4 Buddy Poffins, since that card is finding your Kilo HP basics, right? Power ceiling, I would give an 8 out of 10. Once Dhelmise is online, 170 damage for a single energy is generally a top tier payoff for the cost, right? And Spirit Bomb gives you a real finisher move on top of that. This isn't a deck with just grinds. It has a real everything clicks and I run away with it ceiling. It's really good. Budget and accessibility. I'll give it a 9 out of 10 as well. Everything is pretty cheap each. There's nothing expensive. As you can see, it's 1681 for all 60 cards, and then you can exclude the basic energy, which everyone probably has at this point, right? Synergy, I'll give it a 9 out of 10 as well. This is the standout category for this deck. Every single Pokemon and most of the trainers are pulling towards the exact same plan, which is discard ghost types fast, power up Dhelmise, finish with a Spirit Bomb, right? That it's pretty straightforward and it's crazy and it works great together. This isn't a pile of good cards. It's generally a built around one idea list, which is rare to see from someone's first attempt using a friend's bulk, you know. That's still mind-boggling to me, by the way. Rating, I would give an 8 out of 10. What I'd actually change is bump Buddy Buddy Poffin to 4 copies if you have a spare. Double check Night Stretcher. Isn't accidentally working against your own play by recurring cards you want to stay in the discard pile, right? Beyond that, this is a well-built deck for what it's trying to do. And the got watch result last week is more likely explained by matchup and experience rather than the list itself. So great job. That's amazing. All right, we're back. This is the next one that I found. This person said, I'm a one-trick ends Zoroark player. How could I make it more annoying post pitch black? So here's the deck list. You guys already know what's up. We're gonna bring this over to Limitless TCG. We're gonna put it in there. We're gonna look at it and let's do it. All right, here's deck 3. Wow, all I really have to say as of right now. Honestly, I wouldn't really change anything, but okay, so this guy wants to make the deck even more annoying than it already is, right? And so because we're going to be going by that, I would say remove the energy switch and add a what's it called, a Dark Bell, right? Both active dark Pokemon are now confused. This will make it more annoying, promise. Let's put it over here, because why not? Why energy switch is the one to cut? It's a single copy already, so it's clearly not something the list is leaning heavily on. Its job is moving an energy from one of your Pokemon to another, where your deck already has ends PP up doing something similar and arguably better. PP up attaches energy straight from your discard pile into a bench's ends Pokemon. Between trade, discarding cards, some of which will be energy, and PP up recovering them, you're not really starved for ways to get energy where you need it. It doesn't touch your started goal at all. It's a smoothing card, not a disruption card, right? Why Dark Bell is a better use of that slot? It directly does the thing you asked for, makes the deck more annoying to play against, right? Zero downside for you specifically. Dark Bell confuses both active Pokemon, but it explicitly doesn't affect darkness types. Your whole board is darkness types, right? So it only ever confuses your opponent, never you. It's a one item, no setup effect, unlike Mega Darkrai combo pieces. You don't need anything else in play for it to work. You just play it and your opponent active Pokemon now has to flip a coin to attack. Now we move on to the ratings. So for the deck, I would give the consistency an 8 out of 10. So because of trade, draw 2 for the discarding a card on up to 4 copies of Ends Zoroark. EX is one of the best draw engines in the game right now. Right, you can dig extremely deep on a good turn. Ends Castle giving free retreat and Ends PP up recycling discarded energy both smooth things out further. This deck rarely just sits there doing nothing, right? There's a lot happening. So consistency is great. Power ceiling, I'll give it an 8 out of 10. Night Joker letting Zoroark borrow any bench ends Pokemon's attacks means you've got real flexibility in how you close games out. Reshiram scaling off damage counters. Darmanitan's bench hitting Flame Body Cannon, and now Dark Bell setting up clean KO through Abyss Eye style disruption if you lean into it further. This isn't a one note deck. Budget and accessibility, I would give a 9 out of 10. And Zoroark EX itself is genuinely cheap. It's around like $1.27. And most of the supporting casts, and Zoroark, Ends Castle, Ends PP Up, are commons and uncommons from the same set. So this is a very achievable deck to actually own. Synergy, I would give a 9 out of 10. This is as close to as tight as it gets. Nearly every card in the list exists specifically to support the trade / Night Joker engine, and the Dark Bell edition slots in with literally zero downside given you're all darkness type board. Very little wasted space here. Overall rating, I would say 8 out of 10. Why it actually changed, which is already covered, is energy switch out to the Dark Bell in. Beyond that, this deck was already well built before we even touched it. Most of what we did was refinement, not repair. Alright, we found our fourth target, I guess you can say. He says, help my Lucario Zygarde deck. Sorry. The text says, hi, I have a Mega Lucario Zygarde deck that I've seen some success, but once I started playing in the higher levels of Pokemon TCG Live, I can't seem to win. Any suggestions on how to improve this deck? And of course, they give the deck list. They provide the Pokemon, the trainers, the energy, all that's needed. So you already know what's up. We're going to go ahead and take this to Limitless TCG and take it from there. Alright, here is the Lucario Zygarde deck. It's a pretty solid deck, right? I was low-key planning on making a deck like this. Maybe not with Zygarde, but it doesn't look bad first look. There's one real hole. There's no core memory, which is the piece that turns Mega Zygarde EX from big attacker into guaranteed OKO on any Mega EX. That plus slightly thin supporter depth. There's only one judge and only one Zygarde is likely why it wins at lower levels, but stalls out against prepared opponents. So what to remove and what to add? I would remove this and add a core memory instead. There's two different stadiums. I would get rid of Nighttime Mine and add a judge instead. A second judge, I should say, because only one I feel like isn't good enough. I'll get rid of one air balloon and add one extra Mega Zygarde EX. Because air balloon's retreat cost reduction is nice, but not essential with only 2 total copies already giving you some flexibility. So going to 2 Zygarde means you actually draw your best answer to opposing Megas much more consistently instead of being sometimes cards, you know. So let's go ahead and do that as well. Let's and just add another Zygarde. Boom. 60 cards, 1866. I think it looks pretty good as of right now. Now let's get into the ratings for this deck. So consistency wise, I would give it a 6 out of 10. 4 Lily's Determination gives you a solid draw floor. In fighting, going four of them keeps your energy line moving. But only one judge and only one Mega Zygarde EX means 2 of your important cards are frequently just not in hand when you need them. That's a kind of gap that doesn't show up against weaker opponents, but absolutely shows up at higher levels. Power ceiling, I would give like a 6 out of 10 as of now. But well, not as of now anymore. With the fix, it's a 9 out of 10, I would say. So it's better now, but beforehand, the deck that he had originally, I would give a 6 out of 10. This is the headline finding. Without core memory, Mega Zygarde EX is just a big attacker. With it, it's a guaranteed one-shot KO on any Mega Evolution EX, which is generally format defining ceiling. Right now, you're playing the deck without its best card equipped, essentially, I would say. Right. Budget accessibility. 1866. Not bad at all. I would give like an 8 out of 10. Nothing screamed expensive chase card the way the Heroes Cape did on deck number 1. But multiple Mega Lucario EX prints suggest that there's a flexibility to buy cheaper versions regardless. Synergy, I'll give an 8 out of 10. Zoroark, Lunatone, Hariyama, Riolu, all clearly support the Mega Lucario Aura Jab energy acceleration plan, and that part of the list is well put together. The gap is specifically on Zygarde's side, which is present but not fully supported yet, right? Overall rating, 7.5 out of 10, because I'm in between like 7 and 8. I couldn't really pick. What I'd actually change, which is already covered, is the core memory. And second, Judge. I would also change a second Zygarde in. Cutting Scoop Up Cyclone and Nighttime Mine and Air Balloon to make room. This is a deck that's one focus update away from being genuinely dangerous rather than just solid. Alright, we found our 5th and final target for this video. This person says, thoughts on this deck? They're in the deck help section, and the text says, just any suggestions I could make to this deck to improve better right now, and leaning towards adding some black belts. And then obviously the deck list, so we have the Pokemon here, trainers, and the energy. So we're gonna go ahead for the last time, take this to Limitless TCG, build a deck, and we'll take it from there. So here it is. This looks like a real established archetype. Mega Gengar, Crobat, and Dhelmise draw engine. And the black belts training question resolved fine. It's a type agnostic, but it's a supporter competing with an already packed lineup. So it's a nice to have rather than the priority fix. The bigger issue is a structural consistency gap. Only one Ultra Ball for a deck running 2 separate evolution lines. What I'd remove and add, I would remove Rose's Encouragement and 1 Energy Search, and I would replace it with a second Ultra Ball, I should say, and 1 Black Belt's Training. Now for rating, I'll give consistency a 6 out of 10. There's 2 separate evolution lines, Crobat and Ghastly into Mega Gengar EX. Both need to hit consistently, and only 1 Ultra Ball is the real drag here. Dundespierce and Cipher Maniacs code breaking help pick up the stack, but the core search is thinner than it should be for a deck with this much evolution to it. Power ceiling, I'll give an 8 out of 10. Void Gale at 230 damage is already high, and with the black belts training edition pushing it to 270, this deck can realistically one-shot most EX targets in the format. Mega Gengar's EX's shadowy concealment also messes with your opponent's prize math, which is its own kind of ceiling. Games can get away from your opponent even when the damage race looks close. Budget and accessibility, $22. I'll give it a 7 out of 10. Nothing screamed expensive chase card here either, similar to deck 4. Synergy, 8 out of 10. Gengar, Crobat, and Dundespierce all clearly support each other, and a support suite, Boss's Order, Judge, Cipher Maniacs, is coherent with a search disruption plan. The only friction is a supporter lineup dense enough that adding black belts training is a real trade-off, not a free slot. Overall rating, I give this one 7 out of 10. What I'd actually change, which is already covered, is Ultra Ball up to 2 or 3. Black belts training in for energy search. Rose's Encouragement out. Same pattern as the other decks. A well-built core idea that's 1 or 2 consistency tweaks away from being super sharp. And that should wrap up this video. I really appreciate everyone for watching. Let me know down in the comments if you want me to rate your deck, if you want any help building one, if you want to watch me build my own, upgrade my own, whatever the case is. Let me know in the comments. Like, subscribe for new videos. Thank you again. Peace.